Hello from Austin, Texas. My mom and I are here for the weekend, primarily here to see Hillary Duff, but we also did a bunch of fun stuff. This is actually our last morning and we're leaving, but real quick, let me tell you about what we did and I'll cut away to some footage of me talking about that because I didn't think to film the intro until the end of the trip. But let me tell you a little bit about it.
Thanks, Andrea, from 2 days ago, but I'll actually take it from here. Our car actually pulled up and we had to run before I could finish filming. So we're home now, but we had a fantastic long weekend in Austin. So the whole reason we were there was to see Hillary Duff in concert, but I actually used to live in Austin, so the trip was a little combination of going down memory lane and trying things that I had on my Austin bucket list, but never got around to actually doing it. So it was a good combination of new and old. But we flew in on Friday, June 26th. And first thing we did is we got our rental car and then drove to our hotel, the Hotel Magdalena, which is on South Congress Avenue. If you've never been to Austin before and you're wondering where you should stay, I highly recommend South Congress Avenue because it's just a good central location. It's about 6 blocks of shops and restaurants. And if you've ever wanted to buy a pair of cowboy boots, that's the place to do it. But they also have things like Lululemon, and they have a whole Birkenstock store and Reformation, Everlane, just, all the stuff. Good place to wander around. And I'd also recommend Hotel Magdalena. It was clean and comfortable and modern, and I don't know what they do in the lobby, what fragrance they use, but it's always smelled amazing. So we got our rental car, checked into the hotel. First thing we did was go to Sweetgreen, which you might have a Sweetgreen in your neighborhood. It's a chain, but we were just thirsty and hungry, and we just kind of went to the first place available, and it was okay. It was a chain. It was fine. Then we went to Central Market, which is a gourmet grocery store. It's owned by H-E-B, but it's kind of like the fancy sister of H-E-B. And if I ever needed to get like nice desserts to bring for a birthday, that's always where I would go. So we went there, wandered around, and then we went and got dinner at P. Terry's, which is a burger restaurant, but they also have really good veggie burgers. When I lived in Austin, I worked for a theater company, and I remember one of our rehearsals, everybody just sitting around and arguing, no, Whataburger is the best burger place, or In-N-Out is the best burger place, or P. Terry's. And there was kind of like a competition between those three, but it will always be P. Terry's for me. After dinner, we dropped the car at the hotel and walked for about 10 minutes to get to the Congress Avenue Bridge. And it's here that something exciting happens every night, almost every night. So underneath the Congress Avenue Bridge, there are thousands of bats that spend all day there kind of resting because they're nocturnal creatures. And then at sunset, they all fly out from under the bridge and fly out to go do their hunting for that night. It's something I've always wanted to see, and whenever I talk to somebody and tell them that I've lived in Austin, they're always like, have you seen the bats? And I never have up until this day. So we got there at 8 p.m. Sunset was at 8:36, and we had on the bridge, it's a pretty long bridge, but there were, I'd say, probably 300 people on the bridge, and then another 300 people kind of down in a grassy area. A lot of them had lawn chairs. And then because the bridge is over water, there were dozens of kayaks and small ferry boats, and the bridge was nice, but if I were to do it again, I think I would go on one of these kayak tours because those looked really cool. So we get there at 8, sunset comes and goes, and no bats. And we're waiting for a long time, and slowly people start to leave and the kayakers all paddle away, and it really looks like we're just not going to see any bats that night. And then at about 9:45, the bats underneath the bridge. They come out a little bit, but they're just swarming underneath the bridge. They don't fly out. It's cool to see because it's thousands of them swarming, and you can't really make out individual bats, but you can see a lot of motion going on. So I still had a good time, but it wasn't what we were hoping to see. So I guess that's something we're going to have to come back and try another time, because it's never guaranteed. They're wild animals. They do what they want. So Saturday comes and I start the morning with a run.
Good morning. So this is our first full day in Austin, and I am about to go for a run around Lady Bird Lake, which is a enormous lake reservoir in South Austin near like Congress Street. And so I'm going to go for a run. The entire lake is 10 miles, but I'm not doing 10 miles. My training plan has 6. But because it's really hot and I'm not entirely familiar with the route, I've been there before, but yeah, I'm not entirely familiar with the route. So we're gonna turn this into a run, walk, take it easy, not look at pace, just enjoy the day, enjoy the trail. But yeah, so let's go for a run. So the run was a lot of fun around Lady Bird Lake. It was hot, but it's beautiful and it's pretty shaded. The only thing is I ran out of water because it's hot and I was drinking a lot. But the water fountains, a lot of them didn't work. So I ended up ending the run feeling pretty thirsty. So but I got back, I hydrated, I showered, and then my mom and I just went to Torchy's Tacos, which is a chain, but it's a chain that we don't have in Maryland. So I love to go there when I can. And we got an absolute feast of tacos and nachos and churros and all that good stuff. So we are now going to go to the LBJ Presidential Library. It closes in like an hour and 15, so we're gonna get there just in time to do a little bit of walking around and then probably go back to the hotel and chill for a second, because I could do with some chilling. Okay, so change of plans. We were going to go to the LBJ library, but they let the last visitors come in at 4, and we got there at 4:06, and so they said come back tomorrow. So maybe we'll find another chance to do that on this trip, but for right now we're going to go to Congress Avenue, back to the hotel, and then do a little wandering and shopping on Congress Avenue, maybe get some ice cream.
Spoiler alert, we never did find time to go to the LBJ Presidential Library, but I've heard it's supposed to be amazing, and my mom's actually been before and she said it's amazing. So that's another thing that I'm gonna need to put on my list for next time. But we got back to the hotel, we chilled for a little bit, and then put on our swimsuits. I forgot to pack a swimsuit, so I was just wearing a sports bra and some running shorts, but it's fine. And then we headed over to Barton Springs.
We are at the Barton Springs pool, which is an outdoor pool fed by springs, so it's kind of carved into the rock. I went here once a long time ago, like back in 2015, and I remember thinking it was so cool. So we're back again, and we're gonna go for a little night swimming.
My mom says that going to Barton Springs was her highlight of the entire trip, and it was definitely high up there for me. The water was just so nice and cool, and it's kind of this nature setting within a big city, so it feels like a little nature escape. So I highly recommend doing that. It is not free. You have to pay a entrance fee, but I think it's just $9 per person for people that don't live in Austin. On our way home from the Springs, we stopped at an H-E-B on South Congress Avenue, and we just got some groceries for the room. Man, I love H-E-B. It's just, they have all of these foods that some of them you can't get anywhere else. They have homemade, or like they make them in store, the tortillas. And I even considered bringing some tortillas back with me. They just have everything. I wish we had H-E-Bs in Maryland. After that, we were pretty hungry and it was almost 11 o'clock at night. So we went to the Magnolia Cafe for a very late dinner. It's open 24 hours a day. It's an Austin classic and another one to check out if you're in the area. I chose to order pancakes and they asked me if I wanted the full stack and I was like, yeah, sure, I'm hungry. And they brought out 3 of the most enormous pancakes I've ever seen. But they were good, and it was a nice end to our very long, busy day. And now on to Sunday. I actually decided to sleep in because the past couple days were just pretty tiring and it was hot, and I feel like the heat just kind of drains you a little bit. So I slept in, and then I went to a neighborhood of Austin called Mueller, and I actually used to live in Mueller, so it was fun to go back to my old neighborhood. And I got lunch with a friend that I haven't seen in 8 years. We went to Kirby Lane, which is a small chain of kind of like breakfast brunch places. It's kind of like a First Watch if you've ever been to one of those. But I got the migas, which is kind of like a egg scramble, but they put tortilla strips in it. It's a very Texas thing, in my opinion. So I got that. It was delicious, and it was so good to catch up with her. I didn't film any of that because I just wanted to enjoy my time with an old friend. After saying bye to my friend, I stopped by a Amy's location, Amy's Ice Creams, and I got a scoop. And that's just, to me, another classic Austin thing. They even have an Amy's location in the Austin airport. Then I drove to the hotel, met up with my mom, and we got ready for the concert. It was at the Germania, I think that's it, the Germania Stadium, which I think is technically in Austin, but we had to drive like half an hour outside of the city to get there. But it was a nice stadium, totally outdoors, which is definitely a choice for Texas. The Hilary Duff didn't end up going on until 9, so the sun had set, it was cooling down, and I was really sweaty but not sweltering. We got in, we grabbed a little food, I got this shirt, and then we took our seats, and it was just the most magical night. Hilary Duff was actually the first concert I ever went to when I was 7 years old. I was the world's biggest fan. I had a poster of her on my wall when I was a kid. I painted my room to look like her room. And the crazy thing is, there were so many people there my age, but not just, I've been to concerts before where it's other people and they're like 20s, 30s, 40s. And, you know, I call us the younger crowd. But here, it was just such a narrow age range. Like, my mom and I were talking about it, and we thought everybody looked to be about like 29 to 33, which kind of makes sense given when Lizzie McGuire was on TV, and just we were all that perfect Lizzie McGuire age, and we've just stayed fans our entire lives. I'd say it was a good mix of old stuff and new stuff, and some of the old stuff going like way back to 2004. And of course, she ended the night on What Dreams Are Made Of, and there were paper butterflies, confetti that flew around the stadium, and it was just beautiful and lovely, and I feel like it was totally worth the trip all the way to Austin. And just like that, our weekend in Austin was over. We flew back to Maryland on Monday morning, and honestly, I'm already missing Austin. We had a lot of fun. We did a lot of things when we were there, but I still have things on my Austin bucket list, so I might just have to plan another trip. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.